Shenae Grimes-Beech from LostInLala.com, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the GIGI Hadid by Maybelline collection. Now, Gigi's collection is divided into two kind of sub-collections, East Coast and West Coast, so I thought it would be really fun to test out all of the makeup by doing one half of my face with the West Coast collection and one half of my face with the East Coast collection. Originally, I am from Toronto, but I have lived in LA for almost a decade, so I totally identify with both of these collections on a personal level. Now let's see how I identify with them on a makeup level. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and share it with your friends. And do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Quick disclaimer for you guys before I start doing all of my makeup. This is not a sponsored post. I was not sent any fancy PR box. I bought all of this makeup myself. So with that said, I skipped out on a few items that I just frankly didn't really like the look of. Those include the West Coast Nude Eyeliner. I just don't really like light eyeliner. I also skipped out on the East Coast Fiber Mascara because I have had zero success with fiber mascaras in the past. I also skipped out on the East Coast Liquid Strobe Iridescent Pink tone. Anything pink based I completely avoid because I do have a lot of redness in my skin. And the last product that I skipped out on was the Jet Setter palette. I know that that was kind of the huge product of the collection, but it was also the most expensive at $30. From the reviews I read, it's really not worth the money, so I just decided to avoid that altogether. All right, let's get into it. So the first product I'm gonna start with is the Tinted Primer in light medium. I have seen a lot of mixed things about this item, so I think I'm going to use one technique to apply it on the West Coast side of my face and a different technique to apply it on the East Coast. On the West Coast side, I'm going to use it as a primer because that's what it's called. I'm gonna use it all over my face. Then on the East Coast side, I'm actually gonna use it as kind of a contour that will lay under my foundation. Okay, let's do this. Oh my, that's crazy. I mean, it's not a primer and it's not a foundation. It doesn't give you great coverage, but it is really thick. It's kind of sticking to parts of my face. It doesn't glide all over like a primer should. And it's so dark. Like, this is light medium. There's only two shades available. I would say this is more of a medium. I mean, it's definitely a solid 4 shades too dark for me, but maybe that will work well under my foundation. Maybe it will give me that summer tan that I'm missing. It feels very thick. It does feel just patchy, like sticking to certain parts of my skin that I don't really want it to stick to. All right, let's get into the contour side now. I mean, that's a pretty significant contour, I would say. But you know what? It's really not dark enough to show through my foundation, I don't think. So that is my East Coast contour side of the Tinted primer. And here is my all over primed face. Since there are no foundations or concealers in the entire collection, I'm gonna go apply that stuff and I will be right back. As you can see, I have applied my foundation and concealer all over my face. On the East Coast side, there might be some hint of a contour peeping through that foundation layer. On the West Coast side, my foundation seemed to cover up a lot of that kind of splotchy self-tan look that the primer gave me. But all over, the primer has not given me that smooth, airbrushed finish that I'm looking for in a primer. So we'll see how it wears on as I continue with this tutorial. Now I'm gonna apply some of my own bronzer and blush because, as I said, I did not pick up the Jet Setter palette. I could feel the product sticking to certain patches, I think due to the primer, because normally I use the exact same products that I use today and it does not have that effect when I use my Smashbox Photo Finish primer. So not super happy with that. I just look muddy. I look a little dirty. Not the look I'm going for. The next product I'm using is the Liquid Strobe in Gold. I'm gonna use this on both sides. As I said, I skipped out on the East Coast one because it was too pink for my complexion. I'm just applying it with a beauty blender to the areas I would normally highlight. Now this highlight is very pretty, but the more I pat it into my skin and as it kind of dries and sets, the less of a significant highlight it has. I know Gigi Hadid is known for her real natural beauty looks, so that totally makes sense. This product gives it a nice golden dewy look, but I'm looking for a bit more of a pop from my highlight, so I may just go in and enhance it a little bit with my favorite highlighter. So as you can see, after applying my powder highlight on top of the liquid strobe, the highlights pop a lot more. So I think it could actually work as a great base for your highlight, or even to mix in with your foundation to kind of give you a nice all over glow. For the eyes, I am going to be using the eyeshadow palette from the West Coast collection and the eye contour palette from the East Coast collection. This West Coast palette is really, really pretty. It's basically a City Mini palette for a few dollars more. To start, I'm gonna go in with this light taupe shade. I'm just applying this all over my eyelid as a nice base. That has a lot of pigment, way more than I was expecting. Okay, now I'm just gonna start to deepen my crease with this nice matte peachy tone. I wanna use the shimmery one, so I need to incorporate the matte one somewhere. So I'm just gonna apply that to my lid. Again, really pigmented, really, really beautiful tone. Now I'm going to go in with the darkest shade in here, this nice plum. That's really pretty. For my under eye, I'm gonna use the taupe tone first to line my lower lash line, just to deepen that. And then I'm gonna make it significantly darker with that dark plum shade again. To apply the shimmery peach shade to my lid, I've actually wet my eyeshadow brush to try and get the shimmer shadow to hold on my lid. I'm gonna line the inner side of my lower lash line with it as well. Lastly, I'm gonna go in with the lightest shimmer shade, the highlight shade, and just pop that on my brow bone and inner corner. For the East Coast eye, as I said, I'm using the eye contour palette. This palette is a lot smaller, it's a lot more boring. Because there isn't many options of what you can do with this, I'm just gonna go for a very simple day look. First, I'm gonna use the lightest shade, ooh, all over my eye. So much fallout just crumbled out of this package. So hopefully that doesn't happen to my eye. Did you just see that? Look. Yeah, blow off before you apply it, otherwise it'll just be a disaster. This is a really light beigey taupey tone. It's very pretty, it's very, very pigmented, but very subtle. I'm gonna apply the caramel tone into my crease. They seem to complement one another quite well, so let's see. Ooh, I don't like that at all. This is not a nice color on me. It might look nice on other people, but it's just a little bit too, I don't know what it is. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. So let's cover it up with that peachy shade that looks almost identical to the one that I used on my other eye from the West Coast palette. Now I'm just gonna deepen my lower lash line with that first light taupey color I used. And then I'll take the darkest shade in this palette to add a little bit of depth to my top and lower lash lines. Lastly, I need to highlight my East Coast eye. There's only an off-white matte shade to do that with in this palette. All in all, not my favorite. As I said, I skipped out on the West Coast liner altogether, so I'm just using both of the East Coast black liners. One is a gel eyeliner and one is a liquid eyeliner. Since my West Coast eye turned out to be more of a night look, I'm gonna be using both of these, but on my day look, on the East Coast side, I'm just gonna be using the liquid liner. When I was applying the liquid eyeliner pen, this pen tip is very, very stiff. So it doesn't really move with the contours of your eye the way I would like it to. I also found it to kind of fray out and bleed a little bit, which would make me have to continue thickening my eyeline, which is just a danger zone. I don't know about this guy, but the gel liner pen that I used on the inside of my eye here is phenomenal. One swipe and it's the most solid black line I think I've probably ever gotten from an eyeliner pencil. So I'm very happy with the way that that one turned out. To finish off my eyes, I'm going to be using the West Coast Lash Sensational Mascara. Maybelline already does the Lash Sensational Mascara, but I guess they repackaged it for this collection, and it is really beautiful packaging. So let's see how the application goes. I am super stoked with this mascara. Really, really happy with the results for my day look and my night look. The last step for my makeup looks for the Gigi Hadid by Maybelline collection are lips. And I picked up the West Coast lip kit in Austyn and the East Coast lip kit in Taura. These are matte lipsticks, I believe, and they come with liners. So let's start with the East Coast side. Done and done. Before I wrap things up, I'm gonna give you my quick rundown of the winners and the passes of the collection for me. I definitely think that the lip colors are major winners. I love the Austyn color, this orange red shade for spring. Very happy with this one. And I love the Taura nude shade. The creamy texture of the lipsticks is gorgeous. They're really matte without giving you that kind of dry, chapped feeling. Unfortunately, the lip liners that come with them, while they do apply really well, they are ones that extend by twisting. You don't sharpen them. So after one use, it's already dull. That point that it had when I initially opened it is totally gone and it will never come back. So I think a pencil that you could sharpen or a self-sharpening twist top would be a better option. As far as the eyeliners go, as I said, the gel eyeliner from the East Coast collection is a major, major winner. It is just so jet black. The liquid eyeliner pen, however, is definitely a pass for me. The tip is just not flexible enough. The formula is not consistent enough in application. The black isn't deep enough. It's just not a winner. As far as eyeshadow palettes go, I think the glorified City Mini palette, the West Coast eyeshadow palette, is a definite winner. There are amazing colors in here. Even though it is a couple more dollars than your traditional City Mini palette, I would highly recommend it just because of the colors. The East Coast eye contour palette, however, I would definitely not recommend. The compartments for the shadows are so small, so the amount of product you're getting is really limited, and it's really boring, so there's not a lot of room to play with different looks. The mascara is amazing, but I wouldn't necessarily spend that extra couple of dollars on the Gigi Hadid packaging in the future because I think it is the exact same formula from what I've seen online. I would possibly get the liquid strobe. If you're looking for a really subtle highlight for a more natural makeup look, then this is a great highlight color. It's a maybe. And the biggest loser of the bunch for me, unfortunately, is the tinted primer in light medium. Light medium is such a stretch. I think it's ridiculous to have only 2 shades of something that is this pigmented. It is somewhere between a primer and a foundation or something. I'm not really sure if they achieved what they were going for with this, but 2 shades in general is just insane because that is not going to work for everybody. It's far too pigmented to only have 2 shades. All right, guys, that is it. That is my 2 cents on the Gigi Hadid by Maybelline collection. But I want to hear your thoughts. Have you tried out any of the products? Which side of my face do you like? Are you a West Coast girl or an East Coast girl? Let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Get social with me on social media too. My handles are all linked in my video description below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you take off. All right, I will see you in the next video.